Episode 1712. 0 BC. Mars the former president's counterattack. Mars 12. 0 BC. 10:30 am Mars time. The Shell spacecraft is cruising in space. In the cockpit, the Martian monkey is driving the spacecraft. In the central command room, there are the Martian fox, the Martian bison, the Martian frog, the Martian former president, Hamuai Guangwu, Biidao Guang, and Ananian Sanzu. The fox stared at the screen attentively at the control console and typed on the keyboard. So that's what happened. He pointed the data on the screen to the former president. The core computer of the Shell connected to the internet on Mars through the captured communication satellite, cracked and entered the supercomputer group of Company A, and found and cracked an encrypted and hidden operation script in the main control computer, as well as the log of the execution of this script. It was this script that designated the reverse transaction of the former president's funds in the stock market and foreign exchange market in the form of stop-loss setting. Then manipulate the stock price and foreign exchange rate to create a market, trigger the stop-loss of the former president's transaction in a very short time, and complete the transaction of clearing the former president's funds. Scan the office system thoroughly by seeing instructed corresponding documents and emails, especially those from the judicial system. Found it. Fox pointed to everyone. This electronically stored image file is a FAX sent by the Ministry of Justice to Company A. These are emails between the Ministry of Justice, the Procuratori, the court and Company A. These are video records of video conferences. Fox said, these are the data on transactions with Company B, including transactions on financial transactions, and instructions for Company B to lobby members of Congress to pass bills. Fox continued to explain, these are the plans of the new company represented by the computer as the legal representative, including the investment plan of Company A. Download all to the local computer and cut off the connection. Bison said, once the data is found to be leaked, it will be deleted immediately and the computer will be offline. It will be difficult to deal with it next. Fox said, it has been downloaded and the backups have been saved. The connection has been cut off. What should I do? Bison asked the former president. Should I recover the funds, let the court withdraw the case, or fight the war completely? My own funds don't matter. Life and death are not important, and I don't want revenge. The former president said, but I want to fight for the country. Smash the supercomputer's conspiracy to control the Martian civilization world. Thought out the bad elements in the judiciary and parliament, and save the country. I understand. Bison said, burn these data into CDS and drop them by air, and it will be done. It's not that simple. And Anyan Sangzu said, that's right, said the fox. Bison underestimated the infiltration of evil forces. If the CD is thrown out, there is a high probability that nothing will happen. Just like a stone thrown into the water. It will sink and nothing will happen. Then what should we do? Said the buffalo. Let's go fishing. We must first expose the enemy and then fight back, said Anyan Sangzu. Good idea, said the fox. Can you tell me more about your specific idea? Anyan Sangzu said, first, find the media to publish articles exposing the truth, so that they will have to ask the Ministry of Justice to come forward and use the judiciary as a weapon to prove their innocence. When the Ministry of Justice whitewashes them in the form of investigation conclusions, and the congressmen come out to defend them, and the media follows up, they will have no chance. We will distribute these hard evidence to major media, congressmen and justices. We will also use the live broadcast of the former president, and a big reversal will come. And the whole society will be awakened. Miss Ananian Sangzu's method is good. So let's adopt this plan. Let's study the specific steps and start taking action as soon as possible. Bison said, yesterday was too rude, and I must apologize to Miss Ananian Sangzu. On the same day, the former president contacted a media that had supported him and published two reports. One about the dark side of Company A manipulating stock and foreign exchange trading data, which led to the former president's assets being wiped out, and one about the awakening of artificial intelligence and the dark side of manipulating the supercomputer AI. Legal representative Bill. Online media, especially self-media, quickly followed up, and the interpretation and attack and defense of the two shady dealings quickly became the focus of public opinion. Executives and politicians of super large technology companies came out one after another, either taking sides or analyzing and commenting. The Ministry of Justice announced that it would form an investigation team composed of experts and celebrities from all walks of life to enter Company A and Company A and Company A. The Fox operated the core computer of the Shell spacecraft, monitored the actions of Company A's supercomputer, and recorded human operations. The next day, the TV live broadcast of the parliament summoning the executives of the two companies to be questioned in the parliament. After swearing not to perjure themselves, the two executives swore solemnly that the company was innocent and the so-called inside story was a false accusation. The Ministry of Justice announced on TV that the results of the on-site investigation showed that the two companies were innocent and the so-called shady dealings were completely fabricated. The artificial intelligence of the supercomputer cluster showed no signs of awakening, and faithfully served investors, allowing investors to obtain a large amount of assets. The asset problem of the former president was simply the loss caused by his own investment failure. Physical newspapers urgently distributed special editions. Television and the internet were flooded with video reports, comments, statements by politicians and entrepreneurs, interviews with two corporate executives on TV, and crazy self-media. On the third day, people woke up in the morning and found that several major TV stations were broadcasting special programs, information about the two shady dealings. Page after page of faxes and emails, videos of video conferences, scripts and logs of supercomputers, and interpretations by computer experts. Physical newspapers once again produced special editions with a big reversal of content. The broadcasts, interpretations and comments on the internet swept every corner, and every media person, politician and person who had participated before. The former president's live broadcast, rolling broadcast of the operation recording of Company A deleting relevant evidence on the supercomputer and directly modifying the stock market and foreign exchange market transaction database before the investigation team of the Ministry of Justice entered. For a time, the viewing volume created a huge amount, which once caused the server to crash. The executives of the two companies accepted exclusive interviews with TV stations, claiming that the supercomputer cluster had been invaded by criminals and condemned the criminals' behavior. However, the TV station's phone was bombarded with calls from viewers, in response to the audience's demands for how to ensure the safety of investors' transactions and to disclose all the facts of the hacking. The executives of the two companies announced with sweat that they would withdraw their statements about the hacking and changed their words to announce that the data was lost on the internet due to internal employee errors. On the fourth day, the incident continued to ferment, and citizens and students began a large-scale march-on protest, demanding that the parliament permanently abolish the AI Legal Representative Act, demanding that the government review its policies on AI and robots, and demanding that politicians, who should be responsible, resign. The Minister of Justice announced his resignation during a televised apology. The Deputy Minister of Justice, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and the Prosecutor of the Supreme Procuratorate held a press conference to announce the abolition of the criminal case of the former president and the formation of a contract investigation team to thoroughly investigate the two companies. After the president convened an emergency meeting of cabinet members, he announced the immediate dissolution of the cabinet and the lower house, and held the general election of the president and the lower house. On the fifth day, the former president reluctantly said goodbye to everyone on the spaceship and prepared to leave the space and return home. "Thank you for your help. It is my honor to meet you all," the former president said. "I have decided to participate in this presidential election. If elected, I will thoroughly review the policy on robots and artificial intelligence. and legislate to regulate the penetration of robots and artificial intelligence into various fields of human society. The former president said, "What suggestions do you have? Humanoid robots have taken away ordinary people's jobs. Sabi Singh, science and technology have advanced. And then, engineers' jobs have been taken away by humanoid robots. If this problem is not solved, the world has no future." It coincides with my idea. Special legislation for humanoid robots. The former president said, for companies that provide rental services and those that use humanoid robots, according to the number of jobs reduced, special taxes will be levied to compensate the unemployed. Another point, NME Aung San Suu said, humanoid robots slaying Martians and killing Martians as warriors. These should be restricted and cautious. They may be used to kill kind people. If we consider the awakening of artificial intelligence and the rebellion of robots, it will be even more terrible. You are right, the former president said. I will promote the establishment of a special ethics committee to evaluate and deal with issues in this regard. The former president added, the solution to these problems requires cooperation from the whole world. I will work hard to awaken the kind people in the world, seek a balance between ethics and productivity, and give the world a good future.